RFK Jr. had a fiery Senate hearing this week, and it began with a showdown between him and Bernie Sanders, in which RFK Jr. actually defends some pretty conservative beliefs. Before I show you the video, guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel so that one day I can afford a hair transplant. Here we go.
Is healthcare a human right? Are we making America healthy when so many people cannot afford to go to a doctor, when 68,000 people a year die because they don't get to a doctor when they should? Is healthcare a human right? Will you work with us to guarantee healthcare to every man, woman, and child in America?
Well, I think you're asking two different questions. You're asking a philosophical question about whether it is a human right, like a constitutional right. As an attorney, I would say that it's not a right of a kind that we otherwise enshrine in the Constitution, because healthcare costs your neighbor money. If I smoke cigarettes for 20 years, I make that choice, which is my choice.
I don't mean to, I don't have a lot of time, so I am here.
If you're asking me a philosophical question, I gotta, give you a thoughtful answer.
Within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
So, it's not like freedom of speech, which costs, everybody.
But every other country, Mr. Secretary, every other country guarantees health care to all people as a right. Should we, as Americans?
The objective is to get Americans the level of health care that they want, the choice, which Americans want.
They don't want the choice to be uninsured.
Well, but
they don't want the choice to die because they don't get to a doctor on time.
Americans prefer private insurance to other insurance sources.
Do you believe? Okay.
And what I would say is, I want to find a solution to this. I want every American to have insurance. President Trump wants every American to be insured and have access to health care. The question is, how do we get there? Obamacare is not working.
It is fascinating to me how many Democrats will simultaneously say that healthcare is broken in our country, but then also say that Obamacare was like the best thing to ever happen. Obamacare sucks, to RFK Jr.'s point. What RFK Jr. taps in there is actually a very conservative question, and it frankly shocked me that RFK Jr. talked about it, because I don't think RFK Jr. is really that conservative. It's one of my biggest concerns with him, just in general, about being in the Trump administration. He's exceeded my expectations. He's been quite good. But what he says, he correctly notes that healthcare is not a human right. It certainly isn't a human right guaranteed in our Constitution. Like, that's never talked about. I don't think Democrats make that argument. But even if it is in other constitutions in the world, that, if they say in their Constitution healthcare is a human right, they're completely wrong. It cannot be, because healthcare requires the labor or the help of other people. So again, you need people in order to invent heart machines or lung machines or any manner of inventions for healthcare. You need people to donate blood, or you need surgeons. You need other people's work or their bodies in order for healthcare to work. And having a right then to someone's labor means that you support slavery. Because again, like, if I have to have something, if it is my right, then you have to work on me. It means if there's a surgeon out there, you have to work on me. It doesn't matter if I have money or not. It means you have to do it. Therefore, you're a slave to me. And it's one of the reasons, for instance, why food is not a human right. Like, if I can't just walk into a restaurant and demand food from them because I'm starving and have them give it to me. Like, that would make me a thief. Basically, I could just walk into places because, again, I will die if I don't have food. It's something that I need. However, Democrats conflate the idea of a need and a human right. If something requires the labor of someone else, it is a need maybe, it's not a human right. The same works for healthcare as it does for food. Now, just because it isn't a right doesn't mean we don't want people to have it. And I think this is one of the straw men that leftists use almost more than anything against conservatives. They say that because we don't want healthcare to be a human right, that we must not want everyone to have access to healthcare, and that couldn't be further from the truth. It's a straw man. Really, it's an ad hominem attack, because they're saying we just want people to die, which is just not true. However, and it's obvious that it's not true, they know that, we don't want to take what the conservative position is we don't want to take away people's other rights and freedoms. And by the way, in my opinion, if you did those, it would actually lead to worse healthcare anyway. So that's a conservative position. RFK Jr. understands it very, very well. So after Bernie Sanders was done talking, the hearing actually got a lot crazier. Not one, but two groups of people tried to hijack RFK Jr.'s Senate hearing this week. So I wanted to show you both because it really shows how crazy leftists are nowadays. And here's the first instance. This was with the Ben & Jerry's co-founder in the RFK Jr. Senate hearing. Here we go.
The audience are reminded disruptions will not be permitted while the committee conducts its business. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room. That was a made for C-SPAN moment.
He's screaming about Medicaid and Gaza at the health secretary's hearings. Like, does he need a hobby? Like, is he bored? Like, what is he doing? This, by the way, was not the only interruption. There was another one. There was a much bigger group that also stormed through the hearing. They got taken out. Here's what that looked like.
Supports these goals and reflects.
The witness will suspend. The committee will come to order. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room. Members of the audience are reminded disruptions will not be tolerated.
Congress pays for bombs to kill people in Gaza.
Members of the audience are reminded disruptions will not be permitted while the committee conducts its business. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room.
So in that, you can actually see RFK Jr. jump a bit. It turns out, as some people have pointed out on X, which I think is true, is that that right there is the reaction of someone who lost his uncle and his dad to an assassination attempt. That is that reaction. It's also the reaction of someone who knows he is fighting something powerful and angry, which of course is big pharma, big food, all of that. The other thing I noticed about this video is that these ladies never should have been let in. They never should have been let in because they look exactly how you'd expect them to look. Like if you go back to the video and look, you know what I mean. The haircut, dead giveaway. They're just their voices, like the people they are. You knew what they were there for, that you knew they were going to interrupt in that way. And by the way, what were they chanting, you might ask? I don't know if you caught it, but they're chanting, RFK Jr. kills people with AIDS, and then something about Gaza. Okay, whatever, dude. I am excited to announce that I'm rolling out my new Substack. One of my favorite things about this show is interacting with you guys, and Substack just makes that a little bit easier. I'm able to do live chats there, do Q&As, and just simply bounce political ideas off each other. It also includes my newsletter so that you can stay up to date on the news as well as my opinion and analysis of it. It's completely free to join. It comes in your email. There's no download, so go check it out right now. Again, free to join. Go to the link in the description below. This is without a doubt the cringiest video that I've seen from the left in quite a while. What you're gonna see is a trans dude has gotten his real gender back on his passport since the Trump admin is in a woke cesspool like the past administration. So here's the meltdown upon finding out that that's the case.
You guys, I just got my new passport, which you guys probably think I'm crying tears of happiness because my Uber driver stole my brought a bag with my passport in it a month ago and refused to give it back. I told Uber I was gonna hang myself, and all they did was send me the suicide hotline. I finally got it after having to go through hell to find all my documents. And after all my psychiatrist appointments, my court documents, waiting years to have my gender changed. When I was working at McDonald's, dumb spray tan ass Trump just changed all the to make and so trans people, if they lose their ID or they have an ID that's expired, it comes back their original gender, even if they have their social, their birth certificate, everything changed. And now I look hot, but it says male. So not only am I an ugly crier, but I for sure can't go to Dubai where I'll get arrested.
Fake crying, completely fake. These people think they are living on a reality TV show. Those are the vibes you get when you watch this dude. He's not really crying. He is turned on a camera. He's posing in front of a camera. He's talking about places. He's like talking about Dubai and Prada. Come back to earth, please. No one talks like that. No one talks like that except the elitists, which of course is like the Democrat Party mantra. They talk, again, these people, especially on this issue specifically, will talk about being the victim, and then simultaneously they'll go on TikTok and get 50,000 people commenting about how awful it is and how they're there for them while they're talking about Prada and going to Dubai. So please dispense with the crocodile tears. I do want to display, though, a little level of compassion here. And I've talked about this with a lot of the gender ideology craze. This person in this video is not well. Clearly not well. This person has been told his entire life that he's in a movie, that he's the main character, and that he can be whatever he wants to be. And I get on one hand telling people that they can be whatever they want to be, but there's a limit to that. I'm not going to tell my daughter that she can become a bird, because then she might jump off the roof and try to be a bird, right? And that's what this man has done. None of those things are true. You're not the main character. You're not in a movie. And now he's subject, in my opinion, to a pretty severe mental illness. And I think that we need to hate the sin and not the sinner. I think at times you have to mock people when they're just doing nut stuff. I think there's a healthy amount of that. But at the same time, you have to look at the sin and who is pushing it. This person needs help. They need help. They need to go to the hospital. They need to get smacked back into a little bit of reality. And maybe, just maybe, they'll stop the fake crying and the fake nails and the fake voice, everything fake, and just be who God made them to be. The left is a cult, guys. I talk all about it in my book, A New Cult. I talk about some crazy stories that I found when I was doing some research. You're going to enjoy them. I had a great time writing it. Go check it out. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video, everybody. Please like the video and subscribe to other great patriots like yourself. We'll see it. And tune in every day at 6 p.m. Eastern time for the live show, or you can check out another video right here.